right, welcome back to another episode of Cloth Talk Podcast. This is your host, Jay Brody. If this is your first time checking out the pod, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. I got some lovely ladies in here with me tonight. One via Zoom, but that's all right. She's here. She made it. She's here. But before I introduce them, want to shout out a couple people real quick before we get into it. Shout out to HelloBlackManJournal.com, founded by my man Jamie Jenkins out there in Jackson, Mississippi. So if you are listening and you're out there in Jackson, Mississippi, what Hello Black Man Journal is, it is an organization where he has annual conferences that support the youth to help the youth get their feelings and whatever they're dealing with through the art of journaling expression. So he has those annual conferences out there every year. He sells merch, got the website going, so go ahead and tap in. Locally right here in Columbus, if you're trying to get right health wise, spring is here, summer is approaching, I know you're trying to get that body right, you want to hit up Whitehall Nutrition Lounge. That is Whitehall Nutrition Lounge right off of Broad and Yearling. Get you some shakes, some teas. They just got a gym right next door to the spot. You also get your workout on, so make sure you hit up Whitehall Nutrition Lounge. Who else I got? Oh, shout out to my man out there in Dayton, Deontay Tatum. If you are in need of any logo design, graphic design, album artwork, cover artwork, anything visually to represent your brand or business, hit up theflyeragency.com. That's theflyeragency.com. Last but not least, back home in Philly, y'all know I gotta support the home team back home in Philly. If you are looking for some good food, if you need a private chef, if you need an event catered, if you just need to try something new from the norm which you're normally been trying, shout out to my man Joe with Joe's Chef Life Catering LLC out there in Philly. All that will be in the link of the description of this episode. All right, whew. Now that we got the plugs out the way, we're gonna get into this this episode. There is a dope event happening out here in Columbus, specifically Dayton, this weekend. We're gonna talk all about this event. So first, no stranger to the show, been here. I don't know how many times now. Like you did this third time.
Yeah.
Third time. If y'all not familiar, go back and listen to the episodes. It is the beautiful, the talented, the tenacious, the ferocious.
Look at you.
the survivor. It is Diona Clark is back on the show. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and joining her partner in crime, which Diona was telling me that we go back. And I'm going to get, yes, right, and I'm going to get to know a little bit about her today. First time on the show, Camillia, yes?
Camillia.
There we go. I said it right. Got it right on the first time. Round of applause for me. Thank you. I normally fuck up names. So. All right. So they're both joining us, and Camillia is joining us via Zoom because she's out there. You're in Dayton, yes?
I am in Dayton, yes.
Out there in Dayton. All right. So before we talk about this event and get everybody up to speed with what's going on with this, so the name of the event for people who are listening, it's the first annual too. The first one, Black Men's Mental Health Conference. So before we talk about that whole event and what's going to be going on, the speakers and all that stuff, where did the idea come from? Like you was telling me, like the story is crazy how this all came about. So tell us about the where this idea came to have this conference.
So, again, thank you for having us on this show.
Of course, gotta support.
We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
So, those that don't know the history of my experience with domestic and gun violence, so I've experienced domestic and gun violence. My partner, when I decided to leave him, shot me twice at point blank range. And so my thing was, it happened here in Columbus, but I went back home to Dayton, got myself together, and then I returned back to Columbus to be a champion for both of those issues. And so being able to work with politicians, law enforcement, just to ensure like the safety of domestic violence survivors, seeing what our politicians are doing and what our law enforcement are doing to ensure the safety of those individuals. My good friend Camillia, which she'll chime in on her story and how this all came together. She approached me like, like because of what I experienced, I think we need to merge and do something really big as it pertains to Black men and mental health. And so, Camillia, I was like, yeah, for sure, because it all just tied in from, me being shot and dealing with an African American man and knowing that mentally something was going on with him where he just could not or which I feel he couldn't express himself in the way that he needed to. So as a result of that, on the back end, the pain-based behavior was something that was geared towards me. So
hurt people, huh?
exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Camillia.
Yeah, so as Diona indicated, she's a survivor of domestic and gun violence, and how we tie the story in, besides us being friends. Growing up in Dayton, Ohio, and graduating from one of the best high schools in Dayton, Ohio. Right. So Diona is a survivor of an actual story that my father completed. So 3 years ago, my father completed a murder-suicide. And I've just reached that point in place now where God has allowed me to transition from pain to purpose. And so I reached out to Diona and I said, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if we can bring two stories together in a collision, because domestic violence and mental health issues tie in together. Even though they have separate, distinctive entities associated to them, they kind of tie in together.
Wow.
And I said, wouldn't it be great if we could bring our stories together and we could save our kings, right? So that's pretty much how this story evolved, with us coming together doing a Black Men's Mental Health Conference. So mental health and domestic violence tied in together.
Wow, man, that's woo. Wow,
It's heavy.
That is heavy. That's heavy, but it makes sense because both of y'all had experience with people who are close to y'all or were close to y'all that obviously y'all both loved. A relationship for you and your own father. Both committed acts that were a result of mental health issues. So it makes sense, man. I'm curious to know, like, when you found out your father did that, did you look at him differently?
No, because he's my father, right? For instance, with a mother and a father.
Yeah.
And so my opinion and my image of my father hasn't changed, because on that day, who my father had left. So the day, in my opinion, the day he committed the act, who I knew as my father had left. And I think there's a transitioning of the mind that takes place when someone commits an act such as suicide or takes someone's life. I think something mentally shows up and changes in the mind that changes the chemical balance. And so absolutely not, I'm not ashamed. I'm not fearful of that as my father. I love him as though he is my father. I don't condone what happened. But he's still my father. I'm not ashamed at all.
Wow. Yeah, because I can see that could be challenging for someone, especially like, they say like daddy's girl, like you look up to your father.
And she was.
See,
daddy's girl.
That's why I wanted to ask that question. I'm sure like you, like that's daddy. That's my, that's my dad. And, I'm just curious, like when you find out something like that hit you, like, wow, I looked up to that man. Like he was my hero. So it's interesting, like you said, like it didn't change, like that's still my father,
Absolutely.
Yeah. For I don't think I asked you this before the first time you were on here. Did you forgive him? Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow. Y'all are some great woman, man.
Because
big hearts on the show, everybody.
I believe in I have
wow.
I have a good faith base. Yeah. And I feel like, in order to move from the past or just the incident itself, like I had to forgive him to move past that, or I was going to be stuck. Now it's crazy. On the other end, it took me a long time to forgive myself or allow myself to be in that situation. But I did. I went up to the rehabilitation center, and I told him I forgave him. I told him I forgave him, even when he was in ICU and I went to go visit him where he was totally at the time unconscious. I said it then, like, I forgive you.
Man.
Right.
It is deep because like you normally right. You had the power of forgiveness, right? Because normally what you would hear is like, typically what happens is people would naturally become bitter. Or they like, like their whole view of the opposite sex is now distorted. It's just like, F you all. So I think that's very admirable on both of y'all ends that y'all was able to see the human in people, and not let those things, like, you judge them now. Like, that now all men are fucked up.
Well, see, that's just like Mary. It's the God in us. Because the God in us allowed us to see these men as human beings. Like, you want somebody to, even though you would want somebody to do that for you too.
Yeah.
Because you never know someone's mental stance. You just don't know. And so it is like, at the end of the day, they are human. And I know a lot of times in abuse, we look at the abuser bad, negative, and things like that. But don't you know the person that's actually in love with them looks at them in a total different way, and they have this mental capacity to be able to separate the abuse from the person that they're in love with, and that's a lot of times why they stay with them.
Yeah. And I wanted to talk about like your books too that you've written. Survival is Victory and Top Shelf Lady. I know that we talked about them before when you came on. But in those, you go in depth about a lot of, your experiences and everything like that. I just wanted, for the people who are probably listening, are these books still available for purchase? Can people still buy these?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're not sold out.
No,
Okay.
No.
Because people come here all the time, because I have them on display here in the studio. And people are like, well, where can I get one? I'm not sure if she's still.
It's on Amazon or my website. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
All right, I want to talk about your organizations, Live Out Loud Entertainment, and You're Just Us, yes? Right, there you go. Try to do a little bit of research. I know a little bit about your organization. So, Camilla, can you tell us about your organization a little bit, Just Us?
Yeah, so interestingly, there's a caveat to Just Us. Prior to branding it for the Black Men's Mental Health Conference. So I won't go to that because that hasn't came yet. But one of the biggest things about Just Us, it was created to reestablish trust in the Black community, especially when it comes to mental health. I think one of the biggest things that has been lost and the biggest things that has transpired when it comes to mental health is trust, whether that's in your household, whether that's in the community, with your physician, or even going to a psychologist for help. And I think my reasons for building the brand of Just Us is that I want to know that if I come to you and talk to you, if I go to Diona and talk to her, and I share something so deep and so personal, I want to know that the conversation stays between just us. And we have to get back to reestablishing trust. And I think there's so many barriers and so many things that are lost when it comes to someone not feeling ashamed to share how they feel, what they're going through, what their mind, the turbulence in the mind, because they're afraid of it getting out. They're afraid of someone knowing and diminishing who they are as a man and or a woman. And biggest thing between Just Us is to reestablish trust in the community so that we can stop this cycle of suicide ideation, unmet childhood trauma, unmet childhood mental health issues, and that transition into your adulthood. Just getting back to knowing that the conversation is stay between just us. That's the
Oh, I love that. Round of applause for that initiative. Yeah, that's because it's a tough thing to be open and vulnerable. Like, it's so, especially with, as we know, within the Black community, be tough, don't cry. Especially for men, which we're gonna get into. Poke your chest out, chest up, head up. What you crying for, boy? You hold all that in, and I think movements and platforms like that to help destigmatize that. Like, no. You're human. It's like learn to trust, learn to open up, learn to, so I love that. That's great. All right, so let's get into this event. Saturday, what's that, the 15th?
Yes.
April 15th? This Saturday. Man, where can people get tickets before we talk about this? Go ahead, Camille. Where can people learn about the event, get tickets, and all that?
So they can go to www.bmmhc.com. So that's www.bmmhc.com, which is Black Men's Mental Health Conference.com.
There we go.
You can go to our Instagram handle. There is a lot of information regarding our panelists and the flyers, and it'll direct you right to the website as well, in addition to Facebook. But that's exactly where you can go to on Eventbrite. You can search it on Eventbrite as well.
There we go. And women can come as well.
Yes.
Okay.
It is open to everybody.
Everyone can come. Okay.
It's so interesting you say that. Me and Diona receive that question all the time.
Like, can I come?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important that we let everyone
Husbands
know
only.
Especially for me, because our mothers are raising young men to become kings, and our women are married to our kings. So this is open to everyone. We all need to know about our Black men and their mental health, as well as violence. So yes, it's open to everyone.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so man, how long did the whole just organizing how this thing is going to run? Are we talking months of behind the scenes? Like, okay, we got to find a venue. Girl, we got to find who we going to get to speak. We got to find who going to do the food. How are we going to make this thing happen? How do we pull this off? How did y'all figure out to pull this off? How long did that process take?
Man, processing, ing,
still
ing. I mean, because it's heavy work. Look, Camilla laughing. It's heavy work. You know, it is, and we're serious about it. 6 days away.
Still
and it's heavy work.
Woo!
What you think will be the hardships are not. So when you say getting a panelist, that to me that would have been the hardest part. But Diona agreed. I never got yeses so easily.
Yeah.
Wow.
Together this Black Men's Mental Health panel from men.
Yeah.
The yeses came. The yeses scared us.
Yeah, like they were coming. It was
quick. Like, I'm in.
Was.
When you need me, what time? When I need to be there.
Just like that. And we were like blown away how easy. But then that also let us know like it's a need. It's a need. And I remember Tavis Smiley said something, and I'll always keep this with me. When your purpose meets the need of the people, then you know that you're walking in your purpose. And so like when these men were saying yes, we were like, oh yeah, we're on to something. Yeah. We are.
Because and for those, like, I encourage people who are listening to go check it out. The panelists that y'all got, these men, we talking heavy hitters.
Like, look, she always says that.
Heavy hitters, man. Because, you know, I follow you on social media, D, and, like, you know, you posted about it, and it seemed like every other day, boom, 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 we got this guy like that, another one. And by the way, here's our keynote. Oh, another one. I was like, damn.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about our panelists is we made sure too that we got people from the city that are from and that live in the city, so that the audience will be able to take a look at the panel and they'll be able to say, you know what, I went to school with him and he is up here now helping me deal with what I may be going through, or giving me the tools that I need so that I can help somebody else. Or, man, I didn't know that they went through that too. You know, so we wanted the panel to be able to be a reflection of the audience as well.
Yeah, these are people like right in your community that you can touch. They're right there.
Exactly.
These ain't no higher than mighty. Like, you can't. Wow, and that's powerful, because I know, like, for me being you know, when I was coming up, when I was younger, if I felt like I had a connection to you, or like you were like right down the block from you, or like you went to the same high school I went to, or I see you around, or you know my cousin, or you know my uncle, I'm going to feel more like she was going back to the trust thing. I can trust him. I can trust his word. Like, because I know him. You're not coming like from Kansas City or something and like, I don't really get down with this joker right here. I don't know. So I like that y'all like made a point, like, you know what, we're going to reach out to the men right here in the community. So that was strategic to do that.
Yeah, it was. It was.
That's nice.
Relatability is everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I know I can relate to you and we have things in common that makes us relatable, it gives me that little bit of a far greater stretch an inch for me to be more vulnerable to you.
Yep.
If I feel like we're unrelatable and you're just so surpassed where I am or could be, then I'm naturally going to close off. I'm naturally going to shut down.
Definitely.
And so relatability goes very far.
Definitely. Can y'all give us some of the names, some of these men that are coming to speak this weekend?
You want us to name drop?
Name, don't give it all away. I mean, but if y'all go on social media, y'all can see it right there. Right? It's no secret. But just give us a little bit of these gentlemen's name that's going to be speaking. A couple. You don't gotta give us the whole gamblet.
We can give you the whole gamblet like that.
All right, run it down. Run it down. God damn it.
We got time today.
You got time today?
We got time today.
Hey, I'm here.
We have Jay Marnett out
All right.
of Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Shout out to Jay Marnett. Oh, y'all gonna bounce back and forth like she gonna say what do you say what?
Back and forth.
Okay, y'all gonna ping pong it.
So then we got a federal judge, Judge Rice.
We got Mayor Jeffrey Mills of Dayton, Ohio, amazing mayor.
Oh my God. Every time y'all say your name, I'm doing a round of applause just so you probably can't hear.
Let's see, we have the Assistant Chief of Police, Eric Henderson.
Oh God.
Dr. William Humphreys.
Man. Woo. Who else we got, D?
We have Civil Rights Attorney Sean Walton Jr.
God. Man. What are y'all doing out here?
We have the president of the NAACP.
Yeah.
Oh my, but Jesus. Did y'all just hear that name? What? You got more, D?
Yes.
There's more.
We have Dr. Eric Shelton. He is a trauma-informed specialist.
Oh, my Lord. Wrong button. There we go.
We have Dr. Darian Greer. He's a licensed clinical psychologist out at Ohio State.
Yes.
Hey. Man. More names?
I think we got one more.
One more name. Okay.
We have attorney Carlos Crawford.
Shout out to Carlos Crawford. Golly. Man, and all these men gave y'all a resounding yes, we will be there.
Yes.
Man.
They did.
Wow.
They did. And you know what? It's one more. We have a
good.
spiritual, we have a pastor. Pastor, Jesus Christ.
Joshua Ward.
Pastor Ward.
Pastor Ward.
Yes.
Man, oh man, oh man. That's like a dose of, you got everything and some. Like, if you don't leave this event feeling reformed or something.
Yes. Seriously.
Man, and I know these men gonna come with it.
They got the fire.
Ooh, now, did y'all explain to the speakers, the panelists, are they coming with what they want to speak on? Did y'all give them like a kind of like an outline, like, hey, we want y'all to speak on this?
Jerome, now you know good and well if we let them speak on what they want to speak on, we'll be there for 5 hours.
We have.
You had to give them a little outline. Okay, good.
Yes.
Well, they were receptive to that.
Yes, they were.
That's good.
They were.
That's good. Because those names and what they do, their titles, like, I can kind of like, they probably like give you a little pushback, like, let me talk about this though.
And see, we know that we're aware of that. That these
be
titles,
a little pushback.
yeah, they would want everybody would want to talk.
Yeah.
But we have pre-prepared questions, so and they already know them. They seen them. We met with them, discussed like our expectations and things of that nature. They were good with the questions that we solidified to them. So we're good.
Man, oh man, woo wee. Man, this is exciting. I'm just like fired up hearing about this. This is great. So, is there a cap for I guess people to like ticket sales? Like, is there a cap off, or you can just keep going? like a capacity, so to speak.
Camille, we like almost there.
So we do have a 200 seat capacity.
Y'all almost sold out.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
Dang, y'all been going hard. Wow, man. Wow, okay. So shifting gears a little bit, and we're gonna jump back into the event because we're gonna bounce around a little bit. Because I was thinking about this, like when I was like kind of like thinking about this conference and just thinking about black men, me being a black man, and my experience growing up and things like that. And I was like, I wish something like this was there around the time I was coming up, because I'm not originally from Ohio. I'm from Philly, so my experience is a little different. But like look, I'm like looking at this. I'm like, man, if I had something like that when I felt like no one heard me, or I'm going through the things I'm going through, and like it didn't feel like there was an outlet. And what happened is I'm internalizing all of these things, resulting in like hurt people, or you doing dumbass shit. You get out there in the streets, you doing this, you doing that, you dropping out of school, you picking up the gun, you picking up drugs, you on the corner now. There's no guidance, there's no mentors, there's no one to be like, yo, don't go here, go here. You're like, let me spit game to you. So I wanted to like kind of like pick your brain about that. Do you often like feel that black men kind of like feel left out of the whole, the whole process of the mental health thing, that like people like we care about y'all? And do you think we feel left out?
I feel so.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, there's a lot of events, a lot of rah-rah, a lot of push behind, women empowerment. And rarely do we hear about, men, empowering the men, or, self-care for men. We rarely hear that. And so and that, again, was something that she and I identified. We were like, who's behind these men? Like, of course, it's sad to say it took these events for us to even feel that. Yeah. But our thinking process was the same. Like, who's behind these men? Like, who are motivating them? Who are pushing them? Who's opening up a door and creating a platform so that they can feel safe to say, yo, like, something's not right up there and I need help because I'm seeing this, I'm acting this way.
Yeah. Go ahead, Camillia.
Oh, no, I
disagreeing? Okay.
I completely agree. I mean, our black men are one of the most oppressed men in the entire country.
Yes. Wow.
Oftentimes we don't champion for our men in our households, in the public eye, and I think now is the time. Far too often other people speak for our black men. One of the greatest things that we talk about for this conference is that even though Diona and I are behind this, on that day, on Saturday, April the 15th, our men will speak. Our men will have a voice. Our men will say how they feel. Not our women speaking for our men. Our men will speak for themselves on that day.
Man.
And I think there needs to be many more days just like that. And that's the plan. That's the goal, to create these days that are consistently flowing throughout the United States and abroad, where men have an opportunity to say how men feel. Not all speaking for our black men especially. So absolutely.
That's big.
Yes.
That's big. Because that just makes me think about like, like when I'm around like my boys and we just kicking it and shooting the shit or whatever. Oftentimes, like, there's not a lot of, like how you were saying, like there's a lot of woman empowerment movements. Like I look at women like y'all have like sisterhood in a different way than men have brotherhood. The sisterhood is like y'all let it out. Like y'all says, look, I need to come to you. I need to vent. I need to get this out. Can I call you real quick? This done happened. This motherfucker acting up like this. And y'all are there like, girl, where you need me to be? I'll pull up. Like y'all are like,
it's true.
Oh, I wish she was here in the studio.
It's true. I know.
Like y'all like, where you need me to be, girl. Like with men, like there's been a number of occasions where like me and my boys, and we like really try to like, yo, man, I'm feeling kind of, man, get that soft ass shit out of here.
It's true.
Like
it's true.
It's our hurt and pain and trauma. It's a joke. We laugh at it, even in our own peer groups. Like it's like, oh man, she broke your heart. You man, like come on, man. Like we go out here and play this football or shoot basketball or go do this. Like man, you be all right. Like man, fuck that hoe, whatever. And it's like you can't express it because like it's weird like how because the tough thing like boys don't cry type of thing, suck that shit up,
Yep.
chest out. But like with women, y'all have that, y'all can cry, y'all.
Yeah.
And I wish that and I think more conferences and events like this will help normalize that.
Absolutely.
Like you ain't gotta be tough 24/7. You ain't like yo, your pain ain't funny, my G.
Yeah.
Like you fucked up. It's
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
Like that ain't funny, man. Like I want to be here for you. How do you think that we can go about like just normalizing that with black men? Like it ain't funny, man. Like you ain't got to be tough. It ain't funny to joke about that. If you need to get help, go get help.
Yeah, the thing is to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
We look at our keynote speaker, Jay Barnett, like he's doing a mass movement when it comes to black men's mental health.
Yeah.
Like he's the epitome of pushing this whole thing out and saying like, yo, it's okay. Look at as masculine as he looks. Good and well he's dealing with his emotions, he's dealing with his mental health, like somewhere.
Yeah.
He's dealing with that.
Yeah.
And so to get men into that groove, to put them into get them in the seats at the conferences, get them on that YouTube. Yo, look at this YouTube. You might be going through something. I feel like this is your same situation.
Yeah.
Getting them and corralling them to get in that space where it's like it's okay. Where other men are saying it's okay. Getting men who feel like it's not into that same space where they become comfortable and then it becomes a norm.
Yeah. You want to chime on that, Camillia?
Yeah, knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge is powerful. As is stated, where there's a lack of knowledge, my people will perish. And as long as we continue to demise knowing, to appraise oppression, to be amongst, because it's the thing, believe it or not, I think that black men have a lot of unity. You guys can come together like there's no tomorrow for an NFL game. Right? And so
Super Bowl parties.
I think the biggest thing with men, especially black men, is being able to sit the ego to the side and to be able to say, you know what, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
But that comes from learned behaviors from childhood. Childhood will truly depict how you navigate the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And at some point, you have to be a champion for the adult you want to be and who you want to become.
Yeah.
And so I think it's knowledge, it's awareness, it's being able, like Diona said, to get in those seats and be in a crowd amongst individuals where, wow, we don't look alike, but we have the same story.
Yeah.
They too. She broke my heart too. And it's okay. Like you said, we got women empowerment all day long.
Yeah.
I think men do too. It's just that yours is channeled a little different.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, because we were not men are men, women are women.
Yeah, we can just shift that just a little bit.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah. How we doing on time, D? What we looking at?
Oh, you're right. So 6 minutes.
We got 6 minutes?
Yeah.
All right.
One.
Oh, that's right on here. Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, so let's do this. We're going to take a quick break right here on Cloth Talk Podcast. If you're liking the podcast so far right now, make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow, all that stuff. More importantly, if you are out here in the Ohio area and you want to attend this event, limited seats are available. Selling out quick. Grab your tickets ASAP. Let them know where they can get tickets, where they can follow you guys at as well before we go to this break.
Yeah, so you can get tickets at www.bmmhc.com. Our Instagram handle is BMM, that's M as in Mary, HC1. And then you can follow us on Facebook. You can also go to Eventbrite and look up the event in Dayton, Ohio at Sinclair Community College on Saturday, April 5th.
Nice. Where can they follow you at, D?
Instagram, I'm here, Diona Live Out Loud.
Yes.
Facebook, Diona Clark. Website, www.liveoutloudforyou. That's the number 4, the letter U.org.
Yep. Follow.
That's it. Yeah.
Follow. Grab a book too.
Yes, grab a book. Grab a book.
Yes. All right, we'll be right back here on Cloth Talk Podcast. Don't go nowhere. All right, we are back right here on Cloth Talk Podcast. Diona and Camilla are still here. We talk about some good stuff. This event that's happening this weekend out there in Dayton, Ohio. Tell them where it's at again, where they can get tickets.
You can get tickets at www.bmmhc.com. BMMHC.com, or you can get it on Eventbrite at Black Men's Mental Health Conference.
Nice. Okay, so before we took break, we was kind of talking about that, the lack of or not enough, I guess, platforms or support groups for men, particularly, and how, women typically have a lot of that readily available for them, right at your fingertips. Yeah. So I was thinking too, like, as y'all were kind of like putting this whole thing together and doing research and looking at the things that Black men struggle with coming from the lens of Black women, because I never asked a woman this. Do y'all see a common like issue that Black men deal with or struggle with that you kind of see like it's common in most Black men? I know it's hard to say, but like dang, Black men really it's always that thing, or it's always, I see that a lot in Black men.
I would.
What you got, Camilla?
I was going to say having trust outside of their circle.
Trust issues.
Being able to trust like a psychologist or a doctor. I think that trust and transparency kind of collide.
Yeah.
When you look at history, you can see why it's hard for Black men to trust. Society doesn't put them in the position to be able to trust.
Yeah.
The community. I mean, let's be real with it. The police, churches, things like that. But again, that's why we have these people in position on the panel, hopefully to create that relationship and break down that barrier.
Yeah. There was I'm going to pull up this article that I was reading before we started. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hopefully I don't lose your video in the recording process, Camilla. Well, look, you're still in the corner there. See, I got your website up there. Where is that article? Here we go. So this is an article from a platform called Brother to Brother or Brother You're on My Mind. And I was like, because I was thinking about that, like, what keeps us as Black men from, like trusting and all that stuff. And I was like trying to find like some facts out here. So in this, it says, I'm trying to make this big. It says less likely to have health insurance. And this is like the barriers that they're kind of like breaking down the treatment or the inadequacies of like mental health problems can be difficult for African Americans. And the following reasons are these. So less likely to have health insurance. So you don't have health insurance, so you can't pay for a therapist or psychologist or anything like that. Then are less likely to receive accurate mental health diagnosis. And that stood out to me. I was like, because I hear a lot of times, like, when you go to these professions or quote unquote professionals, they pretty much just diagnose us all the same. Like, we're just lumped in with, you have this. Like, you got that too? He said, I got the same thing.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah. It's crazy. And like for those who are diagnosed with depression, less likely to receive treatment than their white counterparts are. I was like, sheesh. Cultural mistrust, which I just spoke on, of mental health professionals and healthcare professionals in general is common in the African American community. Only a small portion of mental health professionals are African American, and that's big. Because when I read that stat, I was like, that's it. I don't see enough of people who look like me that I can go to in that space, because like, who's white man or white woman gonna know what it's like coming up where I come from? Like, can you really relate to, like, you come from, like what I'm about to tell you and drop on you, like, yeah, we're gonna work on that, Jerome.
And don't have the experience.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people want when it comes to mental health, when it comes to therapists. Like, I want to know that not only have you been trained because you went to school, but I want to know that you have experience to back it up, because now you'll be able to tell me or show me how to navigate out of this thing that I'm dealing with. So
yeah. Do you think if we seen more people who look like us, like as far as like either a black man or black woman in those mental health spaces, that more black men would kind of like open up and seek help? You think?
I think that's hard to gauge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to gauge because you can look like me, but if I don't trust you enough, I don't trust the medical field, and I don't trust the healthcare in the world in which we live today. It really doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah. So it pretty much comes down to that person.
Yeah, I mean, we can use that. We can still continue to use that as an excuse, but I think that's ran its course.
Yeah, we can't do the whole Barack thing like, yeah, because he's black, we gonna vote.
Right.
Oh, there's a black therapist, so we run over there.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's key because like I remember like I was telling you like offline, D, like, you know, like I had checked myself into therapy after, you know, I had went through my divorce and everything like that, and I was like, man, yo, like I'm fucked up. Like I need to, you know, and it took a lot of humbling too, because you really have to acknowledge that, like you were saying earlier, Camilla, like it's okay to be not okay, to not be okay. And, you know, I'm sitting here by myself in my thoughts, and I'm like, man, like, I can go out here and pretend and put on a happy face, but deep down, I know there's stuff in me that need to be worked out. I got it, and I buckled down and I did it. And I'll tell you this, like, it's probably the best decision I ever made. You know, so, like, if there's any of my black men listen out there, listen to me. You know, if you think that you are okay and you went through some stuff, you're like, I'm good. That's water off a duck's back. I'm good. I'm a G. I can handle it. Man, go talk to somebody, man. Go talk to somebody. You know, because, like, it makes a world of the difference. Like I started connecting stuff from my childhood that I didn't even know. Like, I was like, oh shit, that's why I do that as an adult. And like stuff started like,
Yes.
I'm like, dang, I was 7 when that happened. I still was carrying that.
Yes.
I'm like, and I'm having all these aha moments. I'm like, oh my God. That's why I want every woman to be like my mom, or that's why I'm like, you not filling my mom's shoes, or, you know, like I'm starting to, oh, that's why I got like trust issues, or that's why I feel like I can't like tell you certain things. It's like, man, like you start really connecting the dots, and once you get that information, and I think a lot of people think that therapy is like to save you or to make you whole. No, it's going to give you the tools and help you understand why you are the way you are. And with those experiences, how they, you know, develop characteristics in you to where you're, so now you can make sense of it. So now you can go out in the world and know those triggers.
Because you know what? Trauma regenerates. So we get it, we tap into it, it's on us. Guess what? Though it regenerates within us, but not only does it regenerate within us, we pass that same thing on to our children, because one thing people don't know is like when we experience trauma, it's locked in our nervous system. Yeah. Now think, as a woman, we're holding a baby in our womb, and in our womb, it's our central nervous system. All that ties into to everything that's in that womb, and then there is that same trauma being birthed through that child. That's why we have to deal with it. When we talk about breaking generational curses, that means sitting yourself down on the couch, getting therapy like you should be. And sometimes it may mean also getting medication to help regulate yourself until you're able to wean yourself off of that medication. What the doctors, a doctor say, and being able to function normally as, you know, you did before you had experienced that trauma.
Yeah, man. Whew. Where do y'all stand on nature versus nurture?
That's what?
Nature versus nurture.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Are you giving indication of there being a distinctive difference, or how do they correlate? Or?
Yeah, like do you think one has a more impact on the child, you know, one than the other, like nature versus nurture?
Nowadays, it's different.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
Mother.
How they correlate. You have children, Camilla?
I have a 17-year-old son.
And
so nurturing.
Let's get into it.
Nature is its own, right? So nature, there's a lot of things that come from being in warm nature, being in the sun, hearing the waves, hearing the birds chirp. There is a significant amount of peace that comes from nature. Nurturing, there could be a good or bad. You can nurture too much. You can have a mouth, you know.
Yeah.
But nurturing, it allows an individual to know how to propel and expound on love, how to love someone else. But it's so many things that come with nurturing because I don't think everybody's nurtured the same. That has a lot of layers to it.
It does.
Overall, nurturing, I think, is good for the soul. It's good to feel love, to be cherished, having someone pour into you. It's just a lot of layers to that.
Yeah. That's heavy, right? What do you think, D?
I don't know.
Environment or your house?
Nature is like, you know, to me, nature, it is what it is. It's like, it's not controllable. Nature is not controllable at all. So we cannot predict how nature or what nature is going to do or the outcome when it comes to nature. When we think about nurturing, as Camillia said, it's like an incubator. So you're pouring all of this stuff into your child, or you're getting all of this stuff poured into you. But baby, when you meet nature, it's a beast.
When you get out there,
you stand the test of time with what the nurturing part will allow you to stand the test of time. But even then, you might want to taste nature. You might want to taste a little nature. Yeah, but you just don't know the outcome of it. Where it's more predictable with the nurturing. Like, okay, I know as a parent, if I run my household like this, 9 times out of 10, this is the outcome I'm going to get. If I do this for my child, 9 times out of 10, this is the outcome I'm going to get. But when it's nature, it's a lot of possibilities, and all you can do is prepare. All you can do is prepare.
I know, it's like, man, because like you said, like, you want to nurture as best as you can. You want to instill all that into your child, but when they get out there in that real world,
it's different.
Woo!
Times now, and the thing is, I remember our parents used to be like, "Woo, like y'all something else, y'all something else." Now I see what they mean, but it's word to me. It's worse now. Like,
you it's worse now than back then.
I think I'm glad I was raised in the era that I was raised in.
Would you switch it? Would you change?
Nah,
if you had to pick this era or era you
I'll take my era with hands down.
You agree, Camilla? Yeah. Think it's worse now? These kids today?
You know, I wouldn't say. Well,
you got a 17-year-old son.
There is so many distractions. There's so much confliction. There is so many uncertainties. There's a demise of of using cursive. There's
even like that.
But I don't want to say it's worse, right? Because then there's a lot of things they know that we just didn't know. There's a lot of things their mind has an opportunity to go in directions we never even thought of. You know, such as, you know what, I'm not going to go to school. I'm going to work for Uber and then try to become the CEO. Like, our minds didn't take us there. You go to school, you graduate from college, you get a good job. Now it's like, oh, live out your life. Live out your dreams.
Right. It's a lot of emphasis just on the individual. Do you. Fuck everybody else. Just do you.
It is.
Don't consider nobody but yourself. Do you.
It is.
Leave them all behind.
That's why I won't say worse, but it's definitely different.
It is definitely different.
It's totally different.
Yeah. So I was thinking about like my upbringing and like how my mom brought me up, and seeing like some of these conversations where they say black woman can't raise men. Woman can't raise men. Now you have a son, Camilla. where do you fall on the fence with this? You know, because they like a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. True or false?
Very true.
I
can give him the tools. I can give him the tools that accommodate transitioning into manhood. I can prepare him for manhood, but there's a reason why God created man, and there's a reason why God created woman.
Man, you agree? Can't do it.
Yeah, we can't.
You need a man.
We can't tap it. We cannot tap. We was talking about this before. Yeah. We as women, there's something we can't tap into. Being a woman, I can't tap into some man stuff, and Lord knows I don't want to. Right. But we can't tap into that to be our minds. We don't even process things like a man. So how can we how can you like you can't, your son is gonna process things like a boy or a man. We process things like a girl and a woman.
I have a very clear depiction of what that looked like. In the world we live in with our young black men nowadays, I'll give you for instance, my son's father and I, we got him his first car. And so he says to him, where is your wallet? And he was like, it's right here in my cup holder. I was like, no, you need to have that in your back pocket. He said, no. He needs to have that in his cup holder. So if and when he gets pulled over, he doesn't have to reach. He can look right at the officer. He can look right down and grab for his wallet. I didn't.
That's something that you're not even thinking about. Like, oh.
No, I'm like, keep it in your pocket. So
right. Yeah. Like, my mom, if I keep it in the pocket, gotta reach.
Dad taught him that as soon as he's in the car, he takes it out his pocket and put it in his cup holder.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's those little nuanced things like that a father presence can give. You know,
absolutely.
You think about it too, like working for Children's Services. I remember a man over a fatherhood initiative came to visit us, and he said that when we look at how women raise a child versus how a man raises a child. And the example he gave was a kid in the back seat trying to fasten their seatbelt. Well, a mom's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, oh here, just do it, just do it." But the father is gonna be like, "What you do is you actually grab it, you bring it around you, you put it right here." Like a mother's like, "I don't got time for that." So a father is teaching, brings that teaching principle. A lot of that, a teaching principle where a mother nurturing. Where a mother is nurturing, a father is very instructional. And you need the balance of both. Women, sometimes, I don't have children, but I hear my sisters and they're like, he's on them so much. I'm hugging and blah, blah, blah. I'm just embracing. But I know, my sister's like, I know I would probably destroy my son if I had to raise him on my own. I know that because all I do is nurture him. He gets the hard stuff from his father. And I'm thankful for that because I that's not in me to be yelling at him like and doing all that. That manly stuff, I don't have that to do. I want to hug and love and kiss on my son.
You want to coddle him. It's going to be okay, baby.
Yeah. So I'm not teaching him how to edge the grass. It's things that just, there's things that come natural for a man, and there's things that come natural for a woman.
Yeah. They just need a combination of both of them. Yeah, man. But it sucks that, like, the whole absence of fathers in households and stuff like that. That's a large factor in it too. When it comes to like how men are raised, like missing that part. Like you get all of the nature, and your mom gonna love you through whatever. Mommy here for you, baby, but you still need someone to lay down the law. so mommy don't gotta keep coddling your ass.
It's true. And that's where we may see a lot of domestic violence happening, where the female is like, you know what, I can't take this anymore. I'm not accepting this. I'm putting up a barrier where, for the most part, not that mothers don't put up barriers, but they're very coddling. We'll take the BS. We'll take it. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna lie for you. We got your back. That part that we're gonna lie. Like seriously, that's what a mom's gonna do. They're just like, I got your back. I'm gonna lie for you. Just let me know what's going on so I know how to move, son. But when the female's like, I can't take it anymore, and they put that barrier there. He doesn't even know how to process that because he hasn't even had that teaching in his life. So that skill set is missing. Skill set is missing, or even, just being that regret, that feeling of rejection, I should say. I can't take rejection. Yeah. Because maybe being raised in mommy's house, mommy was always saying yes. Yeah. And so that's all I come accustomed to.
True. The one thing that I hate to see though, like, is like when the relationship doesn't work out with the mom and dad, and either or, but like when the mom is kind of like still hurt and she starts saying these things to the child about their father, painting this image of him, even if it's true. I just hate to see it because like now you're putting this image or shaping like how they should feel about their father, whether girl or boy, and now they're going to grow up like, yeah, daddy ain't shit, daddy, yeah, because mom told me you wasn't there for me, mom, because that happened to me. it wasn't until I got older and I had conversations with my dad, and I was like, yeah, mom was like, you did this, like you did that, and he was like, she said all that. I'm like, yeah, and he gave me the real. He like, let me talk to you. What really happened between me and your mother, and he laid it all out. And her version was coming more from a hurt place. His version like, yo, this. Well, I'm just gonna keep it buck with you. This what happened. her side was like all just
emotional.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. So I was able to see his perspective, and I was like, damn, like the whole time my mom tell you ain't shit. You like your father ain't no good. He don't contribute. He don't do this. He don't do that. Now, granted, he wasn't a perfect father, but a little bit was embellished. A little bit was embellished. So I hate that, but I get it because, you have a woman giving most of the time her all to this man, and he go off do some goofy shit, and of course you go, yeah, you ain't shit. So I just hate that it has to trickle down to the child. Like, don't poison the child mind like that because you're going through whatever happened. So I hope that is one of the things that can stop. Like stop poisoning let them come to that conclusion on their own. Let them find out. If he really like that, they'll find out.
And I was gonna say to that,
yeah.
I think that should not be made normal. I think it's unfair for a mother to pass down her relationship trauma with that father, with that child, because the relationship that he and her have is completely different from the relationship that child had. But unfortunately, what you stated is so very often in the Black community.
Yes.
Black women will completely create a disgust for the father, and next thing you know, the child does not have an opportunity to create the image that they want to create as the father. It's been tarnished by the mother's opinion.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot, and I think it's very unfair.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
And that's one of the things with this mental health conference.
Yep.
Our men have a lot of pressure. They got a lot of attacks.
Yeah.
From society, it's so many attacks, and it's not until we get down and we start having these hard conversations about let's change, let's change the behavior that we create in our children and in our childhoods, so that we have healthy adults, we have healthy men and women.
Yes.
Not saying that life is perfect, but a lot of how we navigate comes from our childhood. So let's change how we operate in our Black community. Let's change the trajectory of the direction that our children head in, and let's just start having better conversations. Let's have better depictions of our mothers and our fathers to our children. And until you make a change, it'll never change.
Love that.
Yeah.
Round of applause for that. Beautifully said. Man, so hopping back into this conference, so what do y'all hope and expect to, as people leave this conference, what do y'all hope the outcome to be as this conference leaves and people walk out? What do y'all hope?
So hold on, maybe before you get in there. So one hope is to be able to at least sponsor 2 people, the mental health services for 2 people for, I think we're trying to reach for like 6 months, a piece or something like that.
And minimum.
Nice.
Yeah. So you just read like a lot of times Black men don't have mental health services, or they just don't have the insurance. Yeah. Well, our goal is to be able to provide that for at least 2 people.
Oh man, nice. That's great. Oh, what else? Go ahead, Camillia.
Awareness.
Yes.
Yes. The biggest thing is we can talk mental health and domestic violence all day long, but I know people that get abused that don't consider it abuse, right? So let's talk about what it is, and let's talk about what it means. And so it would be unfair to us to travel the world speaking about mental health and domestic violence, but not first explaining it. And so and that falls in line with just awareness. So we want to bring awareness, we want to bring knowledge, we want to reunite. Create a unity within our culture, create that, diminish the barriers that first exist with seeking help.
Yes.
Eradicate those behaviors of shame, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, knowledge, unity, being able to get back into, I get excited, like being able to get back into the physical rights, like Being in the physical is going to be important as we transition, as we go forward in this world, because everything has become virtual, untouchable. I mean, instead of picking up the phone saying happy birthday, we send an HBD and a text message. We have got to get back to being in the physical and talking to each other and looking at each other and saying, you know what, Diona, you told me you was okay, but now that I'm looking at you, tell me what's on your mind. Let's talk. And I think some of that only occurs when we're in the physical, when we're next to each other, right in front of each other.
Yeah. You gotta galvanize, as they say, fellowship. You gotta get out there, man. You gotta get off the phones, get off the screens. Like, put that down, put those distractions down, and actually get out there and live.
Engage.
Just live, man. Engage. Get out there, man. Don't internalize all that stuff, because it's just gonna deteriorate yourself from the inside out, man. And you definitely want to do that. Man, there y'all have it. Live Out Loud Entertainment and Just Us presents the first annual Black Men's Mental Health Conference. Oh my! Y'all pulled it off, didn't y'all?
Yes, we did. It was, and the thing is, you know what's so crazy is like, it's good doing this with a friend. Like, it's real good doing with a friend. We had like,
that's nice.
Our minds for the most part, like we be thinking, we flow because we be thinking like I'll be like, you know, I'm thinking. She like, yeah, I'm thinking about that too. Or she'll be like, what are you thinking? I'm like, well, I'm thinking. She like, me. That's what I was thinking too. So like, it flows. It really flows. And the things wherever there is contrast, it's good contrast where it's going to edify and make the conference even better.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. You said like doing it with a friend because I was wondering. I wonder if they had any difference of like, I know we should do this or we should do that. But y'all was pretty much on the same page about a lot of things.
We are. And again, whenever we contrast that, it was like, oh yeah, you know what? That would be better.
About it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Oh man. So now will this turn into an annual thing every year? You think?
Dating is annual. But we traveling with this. Camilla, what do you say about the wheels or the bus doesn't stop?
I like to say,
you got an analogy.
Dayton is known for the Wright brothers, right? Taking flight. So we're taking flight out of Dayton, Ohio, right? Okay. And we're gonna touch down in various cities, but we're hoping to never make a permanent landing. So we're gonna
I like that.
So on Saturday, April 15th, we are taking flight. We are making our first stop.
Wow.
And from there, we are going to just take flight and touch down in various cities, bringing awareness and knowledge regarding
that's dope.
Violence and mental health.
That's amazing, man. That is amazing. Wow, man. I'm gonna be in Chicago next year.
Chicago, that's one of the cities. Yeah.
That's one of them down.
Philly.
You gonna hit Philly? Gonna hit my town?
We hit all them black concentrated towns.
Oh, y'all going right into the communities.
Yep.
See, and that's what the white politicians don't do. I had to say it. I'm sorry. See, we always gotta do the dirty work. Nobody, here's the real. I would keep it a buck. Nobody want to get their hand dirty. Nobody want to get down there and touch the soil, the dirt, the muck. Like, you gotta everybody want the squeaky clean and polished. Like, no, you gotta get in the trenches. You have to get in the trenches, and y'all doing the work, and that is applauded. I love that. Oh man, that's fire. Let them know again where they can go grab tickets. 6 days away, y'all. I mean, go ahead and grab y'all tickets out there in Dayton. And that's going to be right around the corner. It moves fast. So where can they get tickets again for people who are listening probably want to grab tickets before they are sold out? Go ahead and let them know. Go on.
BMMHC.com. That's Black Men's Mental Health Conference. The initials, you can get it on Eventbrite. You can go to our Instagram page for the Black Men's Mental Health Conference. It's BMMHC1. Yeah,
and if people want to follow y'all individually and learn more about Just Us and you and what you got going on, where can they follow your individual pages as well?
So my name is Camillia Harris, and the reason why you'll remember it because it's very similar to the vice president.
Hey,
you play too much.
And we're done here on Cloth Talk Podcast. We're gonna go ahead right now, good.
Pamela, but mine is Camillia Harris, and I'm Camillia_Millie. That's Milly.
I like that. Got a nice ring to it.
What about Just Us, Camilla?
Yeah, tell them about just same link. Okay, you can find it all right there. Okay, Diona, where can they follow you, get involved with you and everything you got going on? Live Out Loud Entertainment, all everything associated with you. Go ahead and plug away.
So the website www.livout4.org, or follow me on Facebook, Diona Clark, or Instagram, Diona Live Out Loud.
Love it. Yes. Love it. Love the way this looks. Black woman uplifting black men.
Absolutely.
Love it. I love to see it because oftentimes, like, you see, I feel like it's a war between men and women right now. And I hate how that looks. So I like this because it's like we're changing narrative. We don't gotta be competitive with each other. We ain't gotta hate each other. I ain't gotta say you ain't shit. I don't want you to tell me I ain't shit. Like, I want to look at my sister, my brother, and let's be harmonious together. Like, and I love this, and I think that these type of events, conferences, and platforms are pushing that narrative. So that's dope. I love that. Had to support it.
Thank you so much.
There you go.
Thank you. We appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for making the time. Diona, always pleasure when you come here. You know you always welcome.
Yes, thank you.
All right, man. There y'all have it. Go ahead, grab tickets. Like she said, they take a flight. So to a city near you, for people who are listening in other cities, just as you can see, they drop all the links where you can follow, so you stay up to date. When they post in the next one, if they come into a city, you go ahead and cop tickets. So if you like this episode, go ahead, subscribe, like, comment, share, like all that good stuff. Everything Cloth Talk Podcast. We'll see you on another episode. Peace.
Bye.